One of the joys of summer is filling vases with fresh cut flowers, especially if you've grown them yourself. But what about flowers for the winter? Today's video is all about one of the most cheery and easy to grow flowers there is, the straw flower. We'll go over why you should grow these carefree flowers, how to grow them, how to harvest them, how to dry them, and finally, I'll share my favorite way to brighten the holidays with straw flowers. So let's get to it. Hi, I'm Marion Owen, the gardener's coach. It's great to have you here.
So what is a straw flower? Well, it's part of the Asteraceae or aster family. That's the same family as sunflowers, lettuce, and artichokes. Another name for straw flowers is everlastings. But as you'll see, the name straw flower says it all. So why should you be growing straw flowers? Well, straw flowers are a terrific annual for growing in most every garden. Oh, before I forget, be sure to download my free tip sheet, 3 Easy Ways to Dry Flowers. Well, straw flowers are dependable. They're tough guys. They thrive in a variety of growing conditions, from Australia, where they tolerate drought, to Alaska. Now, I consider straw flowers a super hardy annual flower because it happily blooms in cool climates, like here in Kodiak, Alaska. Now, why are they called straw flowers? Because the flowers are really papery, so that the petals, which are actually bracts, dry quickly. Now here's a little folklore for you. Because straw flowers retain their color and shape for so long, it is considered a symbol of immortality. Straw flowers also represent someone or something that is always remembered. Here's another reason to grow straw flowers, and we touched on this earlier. It's because they provide such an amazing show of different colors like pumpkin and lemon yellow, creamy whites, salmon, and crimson red. Straw flowers are quite easy to grow from seed, and they will bloom for months in the garden and in containers. I usually grow a mix of colors, starting them from seed in February, and I keep them under lights. And then in May, I transplant them outside in the garden in a raised bed that has plenty of sun. Speaking of seeds and colors, I'll share with you a link to one of my favorite rainbow mixes in the description below. Now in the garden, when a straw flower begins to open, the center of the flower acts like a target, a visual landing pad, which acts like a magnet to pollinators. I like to brighten things up in the vegetable beds by adding straw flowers to the mix. I tuck them in next to beets and green onions and kale, and in between garlic plants in the spring and early summer. After I harvest the garlic, the straw flowers have plenty of room to grow. These carefree flowers don't require staking and will continue blooming for months until the first hard frost. I enjoy bouquets of fresh-cut straw flowers, but I especially appreciate them in the winter because they keep their intense color for many months, which is a joy when there isn't much color happening. Now, what is the best time to harvest straw flowers? I usually clip them all summer, but this season it was different. Because of the late summer rains, I wasn't able to enjoy the display of color as long as I'd hoped. I mean, straw flowers can tolerate a fair amount of rain, but I decided to go ahead and harvest them so I could start the drying process as soon as possible. Now, depending how far along the flower is in its bloom period, will determine how open it will be when it dries. If you're a strawflower geek, the flowers should be cut when only 2 or 3 layers of bracts, this is the petals, have unfolded and the blooms are not yet fully open. Now, I'm not quite that fussy. I like a variety, right? Anyway, this year I waited for a warm, sunny day. Morning is best because strawflowers close at night. They also close in rainy weather. Using a pair of pruning shears, I simply cut the stems right at the base. I gather them in clumps, then I tie them together and hang them upside down to dry. In this case, outside the bathroom by the kitchen and in the garage. The flowers will continue to open after you cut them, as you can see in this beautiful time lapse. Now, air circulation while they're drying is important, so if you need it, turn on a fan or two. If you're strapped for time, you can dry strawflowers, like many other flowers, in a food dehydrator. The process is the same as hanging the flowers to air dry. I find it helpful to poke the stems through the holes in the drying sheets to keep the flowers upright and not blow around. It takes about 6 to 10 hours at around 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
And finally, using straw flowers for Christmas in, say, making a Christmas wreath is a popular way to use straw flowers. For me, I like to keep it simple. I hope you enjoy growing straw flowers in your garden. If you do, what's your favorite way to enjoy them? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!